It's showtime! Small little islands in this archipelago, and we discussed that archipelago means a small group of islands. The islands are atolls and the tops of submerged volcanoes surrounded by coral reefs. So as these volcanoes erupt, the lava that comes forth from the top comes to the ocean, and the water from the ocean cools this, thus hardening. This landforms form because of this process. These are called atolls. The next island is Taiwan, and it is a large island off the coast of China. Taiwan used to be called Formosa by the Portuguese, but the Democratic Republic of China is the country that is on the island now, and some people just call the country Taiwan in order to avoid confusion. The next island is named Singapore. It is an island at the tip of the Malay Peninsula, and it is part of Malaysia, a region in the Asian subcontinent. The country of Singapore is located on an island and has become very wealthy because it is on a strategic waterway. And the name of this waterway is called the Strait of Malacca. There are many merchant ships that travel back and forth through the Strait of Malacca. The next island is Hong Kong. It is also an island off the coast of China. And it was ruled by British, but now it has become a part of China. Here recently, less than 10 years ago, Hong Kong was given back to the Chinese government by the British government. Some of the natural hazards of living in this particular area in Asia are monsoons, and monsoons are wind-driven rainstorms that come off of the Indian Oceans and the other various bodies of water around Asia that cause vast amounts of rain to fall quickly and cause massive flooding. And this is a particular problem in the country of Bangladesh, and where much of Bangladesh most of the year is covered by water. And many of the homes of the people that live in Bangladesh are built on stilts specifically for this reason. Another natural hazard that people in Asia always have to look out for are typhoons or cyclones. These are the exact same thing as a hurricane in the Western Hemisphere. There are very strong windstorms that are accompanied with large amounts of rain that can cause flooding. There's usually a large loss of life when typhoons or cyclones strike Asia. And lastly, the day before yesterday, there was an earthquake in the Philippines. This is another one of the national hazards that comes with living in Asia. There are areas prone to earthquakes along what we call the Ring of Fire, which makes a outline around the Pacific Ocean. Volcanoes are also a problem, as there are many active volcanoes along the Ring of Fire, which runs down the eastern border of Asia. As I said earlier, a monsoon is a seasonal wind that occurs in South and Southeast Asia. During the summer monsoon, the wind blows from the south to the north, and the wind pushes the clouds over the South and Southeast Asia, causing rain. I've included a picture or a diagram. As you can see, the summer months, the winds blow off the Indian Ocean here, in here, in here, as indicated by the black arrows. And when this warm, moist air is blown over the colder air that is on the Asia continent land, this causes intense rainfall. And this rainfall can in turn cause large floods. Here's another picture diagram of the condensation in the process that occurs during the monsoon season. A typhoon or cyclone are tropical storms that occur in the Pacific Ocean. In the northern hemisphere, they rotate counterclockwise, but in the southern hemisphere, they rotate clockwise. These storms cause enormous damage on coastal areas and areas with low elevations that are affected primarily by flooding. I also mentioned the Ring of Fire. Part of Asia is on the Ring of Fire in an area around the Pacific Ocean where the tectonic plates of the Earth's crust meet. This area is at a greater risk for having earthquakes and active volcanoes. I've also included a diagram or a picture of where exactly the Ring of Fire is at. As you can see, the Ring of Fire not only runs in Asia, but it also runs up the western coast of North and South America. It curves around and goes down the east coast of Asia, then cuts out through the Pacific Ocean. As you can see, last year when they had the earthquake and tsunami in Japan in this area, this was caused by activity on the Ring of Fire, along with the Philippines being located here that had the earthquake day before yesterday. There's always a lot of activity as far as volcanoes and earthquakes along the Ring of Fire. Asia has many different types of climates and regions, and this is due in part to the zones of latitude. Parts of Asia are in the low latitudes and parts are in the middle latitudes. The climate is also affected by the elevation. Mountainous regions in Asia have colder climates, such as in the Himalayan mountains. And the topography. The mountains block the rainfall, causing deserts on one side. This is the case in which the Himalaya block the monsoon wind flow from carrying the rain across the Asian continent in the western side, thus causing all the rain to fall on the Indian side of the Himalayas and western China receiving very little, which is where a desert has formed. Part of Asia is in the low latitudes, otherwise known as the tropics. This is where you would typically find rainforests. And we find these in the southern part of India and in Bangladesh, Myanmar or Burma, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and the Philippines. These are all areas of Asia that lie within the low latitudes or in tropical wet rainforest type climates. Tropical wet zones always have tropical rainforests. One problem in many parts of Asia is the deforestation. This is the removal of the rainforest in order to plant cash crops. China, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, and parts of India are in the middle latitudes, and many of these areas have had humid subtropical or humid continental climates. Most of western China, due to the Himalayas casting a rain shadow, is a desert. I have shown a precipitation map of China to let you know and see the indication of how different the rainfall falls about China. As you see here in the western part of China, very little rainfall falls. And this is due to the Himalayas stretching across right through here, blocking the monsoon rainflow that would come up through India. Most of northern Japan has a humid continental climate, much like the United States. This climate zone can be found in Maine and New Hampshire. The winters are cold and it snows quite a lot. Part of Mongolia is a desert also, and part of it is covered by the steppe, which is an area of low grassland. This concludes Asian Geography Part 2. We've discussed the climate, the vegetation, the different natural disasters and harmful effects that nature can have on Asia. And stay tuned. Next time we'll be talking about Asian culture. See you next time.